Shalom, shalom. I greet you all in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, wherever you are. And we are grateful to our God and Father, source, power. He's everything we have. He's everything. He's everything. He's everything to us. Glory to Jesus. He is everything to us. You know, ignoring God is ignoring your source. Ignoring God is ignoring the beginning of all things. Ignoring God is ignoring the existence of creation. We cannot ignore God, because how things began is the way they will come to an end. That means the end will be is hidden in the beginning, No, because God is the reason for the existence of man. Without God, there is no possibility here on the earth to live. He's the source then, and knowing that is wisdom. Knowing it is wisdom. When you look in Genesis chapter 21, verse 9 and 10. Okay, begin from 9. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, whom he had born to Abraham, scoffing. So I explained you cannot scoff or mock the grown-up people, while you're young, and that that will always communicate something. Something is wrong here, character-wise. So therefore she said to Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, namely with Isaac. And the matter was very displeasing in Abraham's sight because of his son. It's clear and understandable because this was a son of Abraham, and Abraham loved his sons. Verse 12 says, but God said to Abraham, do not let it be displeasing in your sight because of the lad or because of your bondwoman. Whatever Sarah has said to you, listen to her voice. For in Isaac your seed shall be called, yet I will also make a nation of the son of the bondwoman, because he is your seed. So God spoke to Abraham that it's okay. Go ahead and do it, as Sarah is saying. Because he said, whatever Sarah said to you, listen to her voice. Well, remember, before God had already said that the inheritance, that God had to go to Isaac, the one that came from Sarah, specifically in the womb of Sarah. And so Isaac was the one destined to receive the inheritance. So actually, when you look at this, God is only repeating what I had said. And God is saying what He's saying is true. Go ahead and do it exactly as she said. And indeed, they were not going to receive the inheritance. in the same at the same place. And remember again, when we come in the New Testament, we know what Sarah represents and what Hagar represents and what Isaac represents and what Ishmael represents. So one will represent, all right, the flesh, another one will represent the spirit, one will represent the bondage, or another will represent freedom, one will represent New Jerusalem, another one will represent the old Jerusalem that which is in bondage. So we have to understand the flow. And of course, if you were to go deep, you realize what God was doing here is far deep than what we can imagine, because there should be a separation between the spirit and the flesh. And actually, this is what Sarah is saying. Sarah is saying, well, the spirit cannot inherit, all right, the inheritance from God together or in union with the flesh. So the flesh has to be cut off, and the cutting off of the flesh is the freedom of the spirit to experience or inherit the inheritance from God. So generally, we have God, all right, here helping we have God helping his child, helping us to know what his plan was. Remember, the Sarah and Hagar is like a story, but it's a story, but it's also a parable, okay, an allegory. You see, it's an allegory. So we have to see it that way as well. So again, I speak from here. What he's saying separate Isaac and Ishmael. So what Abraham feels, is that compassion. He feels this is my son. Well, doesn't matter what you feel. Doesn't matter how we feel. You've got to let Isaac go, because that's how the order of God is. Again, remember, we're talking about the ways of God. When Sarah was saying this or doing this, apparently people would say, she's jealousy, she's evil, and so on and so forth. But God himself is repeating the same thing to Abraham and saying, listen to whatever Sarah is saying. Listen to her voice, because what he's saying, in other words, is more than what he's saying, because it's deeper. For in Isaac your seed shall be called. Okay, so the seed has to be spiritual and has to be separated from all other parasites. So yet I will also make a nation of the son of the bondwoman, because he's your seed. It's like, okay, your seed, Isaac, rather Ishmael, will also be great. It's not it's not an ordinary person. It's gonna be great, And this is one of the things that we see. The flesh, dealing with the flesh. Flesh is not a small thing. The flesh has power. The flesh, limit men from their experience of that total freedom that they have received from God. And so that is why the flesh has to be condemned and go. Why? Because it's not also a simple thing, right? So the ways of God is what I'm interested in. How God is doing what he's doing right here. And then later we'll discover all this had a deep meaning than it looked like or it appeared. Verse 14, so Abraham rose early in the morning and took bread and a skin of water, and putting it on her shoulder, he gave it and the boy to Hagar. Okay, and sent her away. Then she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water in the skin was used up, and she placed the boy under one of the shrubs. Then she went and sat down across from him at a distance of about a bow shot. For she said to herself, so this is what she was thinking. This is Hagar. She thought, okay, my child is going to die because the water was over. As they were walking, journeying towards Egypt, the water was over. And so he was so thirsty. And so she felt his child is going to die, his son. And so she put the son somewhere and she distanced herself away. She didn't want to see her son dying. Imagine, she had already seen death in this circumstance. So she said to herself, let me not see the death of the boy. Now notice, she had already pictured and imagined the death of this boy. So she sat opposite him and lifted her voice and wept. So what she's going to do, she's going to weep. She's going to cry because she had already seen death. See, this is it. But let me tell you again, my emphasis is to talk about the ways of God. She did know the ways of God. But his son, Isaac, on the other side, remember, he was raised by Abraham. He had learned certain things from Abraham, including how to pray or how to engage God. So he knew how to do, what to do in such circumstances, because he was taught by Abraham, because he used to spend time with Abraham, his father. Abraham was a great man that he taught his sons the ways of God. And this is one of the moments, a critical one, that what they learned, or what the son learned, had to come out, had to manifest. But this woman was not aware. This woman didn't know the ways of God. When we don't know the ways of God, simply what we'll do, we'll only cry. We only weep and we only see death. But is it true that death was something she was supposed to entertain with? If yes, she had continued that way, assume the young child, this young boy, didn't know the ways of God, yes, he would have died. But again, we'll see what happened later, because when you know the ways of God, you always win no matter what. Shalom, shalom.